Our next speaker is not only a colleague, but a very old friend. I've known Angela for about 8 years. We were actually colleagues at a previous company. And then Angela jumped ship and became a customer at 2 different organizations. And I'm absolutely delighted that she's now come and joined us here at Cognigy. So Angela's going to be sharing some of the best practices of the many years of experience she's had in the contact center. So please welcome Angela to the stage.
Hello everyone, there it is. So I'm Angela. I head up our customer management function here at Cognigy. So that includes professional services, customer support and customer success. So basically anything to do with the post-sale journey. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about today. Today I'm going to talk to you about silos, because I believe that that is the greatest threat to customer contact transformation. So silos in teams, silos in data, silos in contact channels, silos in mindset, silos in culture. And here's the thing, silos doesn't just slow progress, silos suffocate strategy, right? It creates disconnection. And even the best strategy, it means nothing unless it can flow across a team and across an organization. And silos also create blind spots because it undermines what we're all trying to do. It undermines the bigger vision. Right? We're trying to provide exceptional, loyalty-building, growth-driving experiences for your customers at lower cost. So breaking down silos isn't just an operational fix. It is the difference between strategy on paper and strategy in action that actually drives real results. And you may be wondering, what has this got to do with the agentic AI focus of the whole 2 days? However, from my perspective, AI within the contact center can become just another silo unless you look at it holistically across your customer contact landscape. So during this session, I would encourage you to really reflect on your own organizations, reflect on where you see silos in your teams, in your, across the organization, even in your mindset. Think about where silos are slowing you down, where they're creating friction, and more importantly, think about what you can do to break down silos, like each silo at a time, because that's where your opportunity is to actually supercharge your transformation. I have had a really amazing career so far, one that I truly see as an adventure. I really, really do love what I do. And my journey in customer contact began 15 years ago. I joined a company, and it was my first day in the role, and I was sitting next to a professional services consultant, and they were doing a customer kickoff call. And I remember listening to that, like fascinated by what I was hearing. And in that moment, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's absolutely true. I fell in love with customer contact, and I've been in love with it ever since, right? And what captivated me was this paradox, the complexity and the simplicity of customer needs, coupled with the power of technology, but then the real opportunity to drive meaningful change. I worked on both sides of the equation, so I've been the one on the vendor side doing all the scoping and the designing and the deploying and the managing customer contact programs. But then also I've sat at the exec table driving transformations from the inside. And so through that, obviously I've had a lot of learnings along the way, and we all have different perspectives, but I'm just going to share mine with you today. So this is an analogy, I'm sure you've seen this before, but I just want to make it really real in this context. When I was on the customer side at a utilities company, we had this analogy, and we would use this as a senior leadership team, and we would hold ourselves to account to this all the time, right? We were all separate teams, right? We all had separate things going on, but we were all within the customer contact landscape for that organization. And we were represented by the rowers, right? And each oar was our area of work. And the leader at the helm of the boat, that was our customer contact transformation director. And the analogy here was that even though the director was super laser focused and clear on what he wanted us to deliver, right, if we, in our individual areas of work, were not rowing in sync, if we were rowing at different speeds or not rowing at all or rowing in different directions, then our progress was going to slow. Energy would be wasted. Frustration would build. And that's exactly what happens when silos exist in customer contact transformation, because each of those rowers will be a silo if they're not rowing in sync, right? And no matter how strong a leader is, no matter how amazing their vision is, if the team is not aligned, if they're not rowing together with a shared vision and purpose, they're really going to struggle to drive meaningful progress. And that's also why I think so many organizations end up in this perpetual loop of transformation. Of course, transformation never ends, but they end up in this loop where they're never really delivering the benefits that they're hoping for. Because true transformation happens when everyone is pulling in the same direction. That's where the magic is. So vision, strategy, execution, and continual improvements, these are the components of a winning rowing team, and the exact same can be said for customer contact transformation. So within your teams and within your cross-functional teams, I would really encourage you to think about this analogy and bring it to life for yourself in your own mind and for your teams, and question every single work that you and your teams are doing. Are you all rowing in the same direction? Are you doing something that's actually going to drive you towards where you want to get to? Or are you just going to go around in circles? And just like a rowing team must obviously row in sync to move efficiently, the same can be said for customer contact strategy, right? You need to be working in alignment across these areas. Because if these areas operate in silos, then progress is obviously going to stall. But when they work in synergy, that's when transformation can happen. So a disconnected approach leads to inefficiency and will keep you in that loop. But a cohesive strategy is your biggest opportunity to actually drive and accelerate sustainable change. From what I've learned and from my own perspectives, I feel that there are 4 main components of a successful customer contact transformation. Number 1 is the leadership, of course, as you would expect, but bold leadership, right? Strategic leadership. And of course, leadership will help us to have that alignment within the teams. It will help us to break down silos, and it will help us to drive a customer-first culture. And really, I must emphasize this point, by customer first, your agents are also your customers. But ideally, you need a strategic leader across the channels, across the customer contact channels. And you need a hands-on leader, right? Somebody who intimately understands customer contact, someone who intimately understands how customers flow through the various channels and their relationship on each other. You also need somebody who's very passionate and who's willing to push the boundaries that exist in that siloed matrix environment. And then your data. Data really does fuel transformation. Your data holds the key to efficiency and improved customer experience across every single touch point. Your data should be a factor in every single decision that you make. It should never be a siloed asset. And you really need to understand your data. You need to get close to your data, right? Let's think about end-to-end journeys. Bring your end-to-end journeys to life. If you do end-to-end journey mapping, you can identify automation opportunities, and you can remove avoidable contact sustainably, but you can also understand how your customers are moving through the channels. And just going back to the point of end-to-end data, this is something that you can really have fun with, and you can do something meaningful. So what we would do is in our weekly SLT meetings, we would do this on a weekly basis, but we would also run workshops to do this at scale. We would, as a leadership team, bring our journeys to life in those meetings. We would put up messaging interactions. We would, do a voice call to the agents. We would try to replicate a customer flow as if we're a customer. We wouldn't tell the agents that we're doing this. We'd just do this ourselves. And it was absolutely fascinating. You will be amazed at how many disconnected journeys that you have. And when you find those disconnected journeys, fix them one journey at a time. Then your transcripts, you have so much rich data, but often companies don't use that data, right? They'll do periodic analysis, but they won't actually use it as a means to continually improve. And then you have the surveys. Read the verbatim. Look at your web and app analytics. Look at what your customers are telling you. Look at your social channels. Listen to your customers. In previous companies, what I would do, and I found it extremely useful, is that, I'll give you an example, for one of the chat teams I was running. Looks like there's smoke coming off, so I hope there's no fire. It actually looks like smoke from here. In one of the teams I was running, what I would do is I would take our chat transcripts and I would query, so I'd do like a data mining exercise where what I wanted to know is, for the customers that come to our site with intent, what is stopping those customers from buying, right? And the insight that I got from that was far beyond what I could get from my usual data and analytics. I would take that insight, I would feed it back to the relevant business owners, and I would watch sustainable change happen. It's such a simple thing to do, and you have such a huge area of impact by doing something like that. And then AI, obviously, AI-first mindset. AI really is the foundation of scalable, intelligent customer contact, and it needs to be integrated across all of your touch points as standard, right? This is a way for you to minimize contact and maximize efficiency by leveraging AI in a very, very meaningful way. And of course, AI reduces costs by driving containment and optimizing agent efficiency. If we think about in a live agent situation, for example, handling the welcome, the triage, the authentication, the route, the back and forth tango, providing agent co-pilot. Everything you do empowers that whole interaction flow, and the result is lower AHT, increased contact per hour, increased first contact resolution, CSAT, NPS, conversion rate, and a much smoother and more satisfying experience for both your agents and your customers. And what does that translate to on the bottom line? It translates to a reduction in operational cost, because it translates to a reduction in cost to serve for new acquisitions, so for your new customers, and a reduction in cost to serve for your cost of labor for service. So an AI-first mindset is really something that you always need to have at the forefront. Let's think about staffing for demand, for example. That is a never-ending challenge, isn't it? The contact keeps coming, and those queues will keep your customers so frustrated. AI can solve for that. What I have found is that without meaningful AI in the loop, it's actually extremely hard, if not impossible, to reduce your operational costs sustainably. And all that actually happens is your contact is going to move from channel to channel, right? You're just going to push your contact around. That's all that will happen. So be really intentional with your AI, have a clear goal, and really think about what you're trying to do and commit to it, channel by channel, journey by journey. And on the topic of AI, I just want to say as well, is that for customers that are not in our industry, right, they mostly remember the voice and chatbots back in the day. And back in the day, they drove quite poor customer experience, so they got quite a bad reputation. Our customers haven't necessarily made that correlation between, the ChatGPT that they use in their everyday life to how they can interact with the brand. But you know what? We need customers to drive that AI adoption, right? Because it's better for us, for our business, but it is absolutely better for your customers because it gives them back their time. But that I see is our responsibility as an industry. We need to re-educate customers. We need to bring them on the journey with us, right? We need to show them what is the power of AI and what does it actually mean for them? What does it mean for their lives? How will it give them back their time? So run marketing campaigns. Help your customers to understand. But please, do it in simple language terms, not business-centric terms. Right? Help your customers in the most easy way for them to understand why they shouldn't ask to escalate to a live agent. Right? That's what a lot of people do a lot of the time because of the reputation that we had back in the day of bots. Right? And help them to understand why they should give AI agents a chance. And then your live agents. This is something that I really feel very strongly about. Look after them. Your frontline teams are the human connection to your brand. Empower them, equip them with everything they need, give them all the AI-driven insights, the AI tools, give them the strategic training, help them to deliver the exceptional experiences. Don't just stand up in meetings and say we need to deliver exceptional experiences. Actually help empower them to love what they do so that it flows through to the customer and really help them come on that journey of AI. I would also really encourage you to spend time with your live agents. I used to do this all the time. And it's really, really good. It's humbling and it's impactful and it helps drive value for everyone concerned. Go and sit with your agents, listen to their conversations, go and watch them on chat and messaging, see the challenges, run focus groups with them, understand what they go through on a day-to-day basis. We all think about multi-skilling, don't we? And we think that that is something that's going to solve for so many different things. But it doesn't, right? Let's face it, multi-skilling is not a great solution because the human brain can only focus on so many things at one time. And then there's the problem of agent churn. So let's help our customers to meaningfully let's help our agents to meaningfully connect with our customers, right? And help them to use AI in a way that helps them to actually enjoy what they're doing and support their customers in a much better way. Another thing I used to do is I would use gamification, right? I would reward our live agents. I'd help them to understand their part in the greater strategy. So whilst over the last couple of days we've all been very focused on AI, I would also encourage you to elevate the way that you look after your live agents. Because empowered agents create exceptional experiences, and exceptional experiences create lasting feelings with your customers. Sometimes it's not that easy to get the top-down sponsorship, like we spoke about over the last couple of days. But there are things that you can do yourself to actually drive change, right? And one of those things is really owning the vision. Even if it's not defined for you, create it yourself, right? Define what transformation looks like for your teams, for your departments, and then communicate it with clarity and passion. Ask yourself, what does world-class customer contact experience look like? How can I eliminate friction from this particular customer journey for the customer? How can I drive efficiency in this particular journey for the business? And then start setting direction, even if it's in small ways. But please, always put your mind in or put yourself in the shoes of the customer, right, when you think about all of this. And by customer, again, I mean your agents and your customers. And then influence through data and storytelling. Leaders really do listen to results. So if you don't have that top-down support, build the bottom-up case by using data and real-life stories. Show them how AI and process improvements and better agent support, show them what this does in terms of reducing cost. And there's things that you can do. So instead of saying, like, we need better automation, you could say things like, we've identified that 40% of our agents are spending their time on these repetitive issues. AI can solve for that by doing X. And then thinking about the silos, really work to break down those silos. And you just do one connection at a time. You don't need authority to build bridges. Collaboration is your secret weapon here. Right, so really start connecting across the whole customer contact landscape and work together to solve those common challenges, because small alliances lead to really big change. So create initiatives, create tiger teams, create momentum, and really work across the matrix in a very purposeful way. And really something else I would say, and this was something that really helped for me as well, is that use the results to prove the impact. So take AI into the boardroom. Show them, let them work with it, let them play with it, bring it to life for them. Something that I was also do that really helped actually is that I would run workshops and sessions for the C-suite to help educate them. That is really, really insightful. It's really helpful because a lot of the time you think that everyone is on the same journey as you, but most of the time they aren't, and sometimes they're too embarrassed to kind of ask more questions. So get everybody into a room and run a really insightful and engaging session to help them understand AI, to help them understand customer contact as a whole, like bring them on that journey with you. And that's something we can do for you. We have special teams actually designed for that. And then empower your agents. Like I said, really be their advocate, because transformation, it's not just about tech. Of course, it's absolutely about people, and you need to give your people a voice. And then keep the feedback loop running. If you think about your customer, your AI, and your live agent feedback, really take that and continually use it to improve every single interaction and make it a habit to analyze this data, right? Look at your transcripts, look at your survey results, look at your key insights, and then bring that into leadership discussions. Be the voice of the customer to your leadership team and show them trends and opportunities that they simply cannot ignore. And then finally, and I do love this one the most, I think, is that lead by action, not by title. Leadership is not a job title, it is an approach. So take the initiative. Be the go-to person for innovation and customer contact, because if you consistently show impact, leadership will follow. So you don't need an official title, you don't need a company-wide mandate to be a champion of change. You just need the vision, and you need the influence, and you need the action. You can break down silos, you can build that synergy, and that will lead to transformation. And you can do that no matter where you sit within the organization. One thing I'd like to say is please always remember the why. Why are you doing this, and why are we all here anyway? We're here because people need help, right? They need solutions. And in many instances, they need peace as well. Life can be both beautiful, but it can also be really tough, and everyone has a story, right? And most people are rushing around, including ourselves. Most people have no time. They want time. They want time for themselves, time to breathe, time for their health, time to heal, time for their loved ones. But instead, look how many people around the world spend minutes, days, hours in contact center queues. So frustrating, right? Only to be pushed to a different channel or to be on hold for ages and then you're cut off, right? And perhaps something that we need to be more conscious of is the impact of bad customer experience on that person's life. When my mum has issues with her telco and her utility provider, which seems to be very frequently, she gets stuck in this loop, and the impact to her health is significant, right? For every one instance of bad customer experience where she has wasted her precious time on a call or on a web chat trying to get something solved and it hasn't got solved, she spends the next several days telling everybody about it, right? And when she's telling everyone about it, she's recounting every single thing, right? And she's conveying her feelings of negativity about that brand, about that process, about that interaction to anybody who will listen. So not only is she passing on those feelings, but she is holding it within herself, because bad customer experience creates bad feelings. But the same can be said for good customer experience, of course. So silos create disconnected customer journeys. Silos negatively impact customer experience, and silos drive an operational cost for your business. Silos also are a key reason why you lose really good people in your organization, and they're a reason why you lose your customers. And lastly, I'll just say that remember, and I'm sure you all know this, but we must remember that the customer only sees you as one brand. They do not understand the many teams and processes and tech within your organization, right? And they shouldn't need to either. That's our problem to solve as companies and as an industry. It's not for the customers. So lastly, I'll just wrap up by saying that it's not changing over. That's all right, there you go. Transformation really is a synchronized movement. So it's about harnessing AI. It's about aligning people and process to really create something that's much larger than the sum of its parts. And it's not easy. We know it's not easy. But the organizations that thrive are the ones that move from fragmentation to flow. And again, I will say that you do not need a title to be a champion for change. You just need the courage to challenge the status quo. You need the vision to see what's possible. And you really need the conviction and the passion to carry that through. Thank you.